morning, good afternoon, good evening to all my wonderful and beautiful little subscribers out there. And how I love you all, so, and I hope that you're all super duper well, super duper wonderful, and super duper delicious. And a laugh is treating you most deliciously. So, what's the time, Mr. Wolf? So, the time is nearly 12:30. No, sorry, it's not my delicious little babies. It's 25 to 1 in the afternoon in our old England, in Brummyland, my delicious little babies. And the wind is picking up. It's still a bit chilly, my delicious little babies. So, it's been. Let's just say cooler, than I was just about to say miles less travelled. There we are, that's just came into my noddle. Do you ever remember those lorries, my delicious babies? I haven't seen them for forever, you know. You know those massive lorries? I flipping hate lorries, especially when I was driving and you're sandwiched in between flipping two of them on the motorway. Oh, scared the living daylights out of me. Honestly, my flipping heart was going like this. 10 to the dozen, my bags. I just don't like, you know what I mean? They're quite frightening to look at the size of them lorries, aren't they, my bags? Well, they used to be on the side of them. I used to see quite a few of them back in, when was it? 2017, when I was doing my parcels, and a time before that. And on the side, it was a white background with a light green, dark green, and it used to say miles less travelled. And I haven't really seen any of those Martin's babies. You see a lot of Hawkins now. You know what I mean? Martin's babies. There we are. Something's just came into my noddle, just saying it. Anyway, Martin's babies say yes. It's a little bit chilly-billy today. I've still got this bloody cold and cough. It's a little bit niggly. But anyway, you know, I've been taking pineapple. I got more pineapple today. My little babies to take that, do you know what I mean? So hopefully it'll start to come out to myself. Anyway, my little baby, should we see whether my lights all work today? Because, you know, I'm still bright. Oh, there we are. Thank you, little light. You're delicious and bright. I never had to say 3, 2, 1 then, did I? My little babies, you know. I suppose I've just got to be a little bit more gentler with the switch, I suppose. You know what I mean, Martelish babies. Anyway, so what is it that I've got for you today, Martelish babies? Because as you very well know, I always come out, you never know what I'm going to say. Well, half the time I do not know what I'm going to say. It is what, there we are, usually comes into my model. Okay, Martelish babies, but I do write videos down because, as everybody knows, I do it as a hobby. It's something that, there we are, I personally enjoy doing. Of course, it does involve looking, there we are, at a lot of videos, my delicious babies. And, well, you know, then sometimes if I need to find something else out, I go to Quack Quack Go. You know, like, Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O, and on that farm he had some ducks. E-I-E-I-O, with a quack quack here and a quack quack there, here a quack, there a quack, everywhere a quack quack. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O, and on that farm he had some pigs, E-I-E-I-O, with a here and a there, here, there, everywhere. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O, and on that farm he had some snakes, E-I-E-I-O, with a s here and a s there, here, s there, s everywhere a s s. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. But then we have that other one, don't we? You know, you remember. See, it's all just coming into my... There we are. Just as I've just come on the camera, it's coming into my noddle. So let's go to... this little piggy went to market. This little piggy stayed at home. This little piggy ate roast beef. Oh, how we love our beautiful dear little animals. And this little piggy had none. And this little piggy went wee, 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 all the way home. Do you know what I mean? Martin's little babies, pinky dink fingers. Anyway, Martin's babies, and then we've got the grand old Duke of York. He had 10,000 men. He marched them up to the top of the hill and he marched them down again. And when they were up, And when they were down, they were down. And when they were neither halfway up, they were neither up nor down. Okay, my delicious little babies, that's just, you know, little rhymes. You know what you remember, there we are, what you remember. Or we could have, the wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. The wheels on the bus go round and round all day long. The horn on the bus goes beep, 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 beep. The horn on the bus goes beep, beep, beep all day long. And very lastly, row, row, row your boats gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. You know, my little daughters, you know, bless the beautiful dear little souls, they used to love all the, you know, the little nursery rhymes, especially with the row, row, row the boat. You know, my youngest little one, she used to go, again, again. So we used to sit on the floor and she used to sit on my lap and I used to go about 50,000 times, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Again, again, mummy, again, mummy. So, again. Do you see what I mean, Mads, little babies? It seems to myself that, you know, we're, what we appear to be looking at, Mads, little babies, is grown man, big woman now, little men, little women in little suits. That appear to be toddlers, do you know what I mean? Mardslish babies, because that's how they seem to behave, don't they? Mardslish babies, you know what I mean? So, say, you know, with the masters and everything, you know, to whom it may concern. So, whenever they decide to do something, you know, you've got these little men and little women in little suits where they just go, again, again. So, you just have to keep repeating it. Do you know what I'm saying? Yes. Anyway, my delicious little babies now then. So what have I got for you today, my little beautifuls? And I hope that wherever you are in the world, that life is treating you most deliciously. No, I'm not going to be swearing today, my delicious little babies, because I'm not in the mood to swear. It just depends what mode I'm in. You know, I suppose there must be a little button somewhere. No, not one of those buttons, you know what I mean, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? But there must be a switch somewhere. You know what I mean? Where I'm probably go from, you know, this mode to that mode to that mode to that mode. Do you see what I mean? I end up at that mode. Do you know what I mean? Mads, little babies, yes. Anyway, so what have I got for you today? Right now then. So, right, okay, so we're going to go to, now I've been talking about this a long time, Mads, little babies, okay, now I've had to switch phone and internet providers, Mads, little babies, and why have I had to do that? Why? Well, because at the end of the day, they're just taking a complete P. Okay, so that's not swearing, Mads, little babies. Okay, it's the letter P. Okay, so we all know what that word would be, don't we, Mads, little babies? Anyway, and then and it started off, and then it creeps up, and then you're paying 70 odd squid, ka-ching, ching, ching, which you simply just cannot pay, you know, not when you're paying other things out now then. So I thought, no, I've got to get this down somehow. So then I went to another provider, Martin Babies, so I managed to cut it in half, you know, just figure of speech, Martin Babies. So you went from 70 odd quid to, you know, to 35 quid, you know, just so to speak, okay? And then I thought, hold on a minute. Then I received a letter through the, you know, the post. Okay, Martin Babies, yeah, there's a lot going on to do with the post, isn't there? In old Born in the USA. Been going on for quite a while, hasn't it, my delicious little babies? Anyway, mind you, we could say the same about over here, couldn't we, my delicious little babies? Very sadly. Anyway, and then of course the end of March, this month, my delicious little babies. So by the way, yeah, on the 24th of the 3rd, 2026, but that's not when I received the letter. It told me, was it February, but I never received it till March. There seems to be an issue with the months, doesn't it? You know, like, isn't it rather, you know, where, so I do apologise, I just got my words slightly mixed up. You know, like where you receive a letter but it's not when it's supposed to be. It appears to be a month ahead for some reason. Mardalishlik babies. Has anybody noticed that? Has anybody noticed that? Anyway, well, the end of this month, then they want to bang another flipping Lady Godiva father on top. You know what I mean? Mardalishlik babies. I thought, no, 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 no. So I spoke to one of my beautiful dear little friends now then, add to me very close circle. And she said, have you heard about it, Carla? She said, you can get your bill down. I said, no, I said, I haven't heard of it. I genuinely had not heard of it, Mardalishlik babies, anyway. So now, what she told myself, but I wasn't told this on a dog and burn, I just need to stress that point, okay, Mardalishlik babies. She says, yeah, well, EE has merged with BT. No, I never knew that, Mardalishlik babies. Now, for some of you out there, Mardalishlik babies, look at this, the wind's really picking up. Okay, Mardalishlik babies, anyway. So I didn't know, but apparently they have merged. It's like a virgin. Like a virgin, hey, touch for the very first time. Like a virgin, when your heart beats next to mine. You know what I mean, Mardalishlik babies, yes. It used to be Richard Branson's, didn't it, till he sold it. But of course, for the customers, I never knew. Did the Mardalishlik babies? That was quite a while ago as well, wasn't it? But they still run under. There we are, the names. But I mean, bless EE, because I happen to, anyway, I can say it on my camera, it doesn't make any difference anyway. The fact of the matter is, I use EE for my Mobi, my dog and burn, Mardalishlik babies. I only pay a tenner a month, and I get 500 minutes of talk time, unlimited text messages. Well, that's all I need. It's very rare I ever use up all my minutes, probably, I don't know, once a month or 2 months a year, probably for that. Any other time, no, I'm probably still left with about 400 minutes a month or something, but I don't roll them over. They roll these flipping whatever it's called, gigabytes over, but they don't flipping roll over nothing else now then, do you know what I mean, okay? So they don't want to give me all the, those minutes, do the Mardalishlik babies, So, anyway, but they're very good actually, EE. Okay, I'd say they are the most trustworthy. But of course, then I started paying the internet and the landline, okay, Mardalishlik babies, and then it was so far. But of course, it starts creeping up. Anyway, so because I was told about this other thing now, so now I've got an even better deal. How long this is going to be for, I do not know. It doesn't start till next month anyway, Mardalishlik babies. But anyway, so I've just paid my last bill for the internet and that. Otherwise, I would have stayed with the E, but seeing as they're merged, but like I say, they make out that, there we are, they make out that they're separate for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why they do that, Mardalishlik babies anyway. But yeah, so now I've got it down to under 20 quid a month. A score, Mardalishlik babies, you know what I mean? Got it under. Okay. Bit like what's going on in the world, isn't it, Mardalishlik babies, you know what I mean? Some are paying more and some are paying less. Yes. Anyway, getting back to this now then. So, I forgot to put the flipping uploader, and I've forgotten to put the flipping how many subscribers. Look, I've forgotten to do both. Look at that, Mardalishlik babies. Anyway, all you got to type in, please and thank you, Mardalishlik babies. I think this video was it about 10 days ago? This particular video, Mardalishlik babies, on YouTube. They're all on YouTube. If you was to just please and thank you, type in, should anybody happen to have any form of an interest, the end of Landlines, what we're losing. Yes, Mardalishlik babies, so can I just please repeat that again and thank you. The end of Landlines, what we're losing. Okay, Mardalishlik babies. Now, I've talked about this before. I think it's over 20 minutes, this video, Mardalishlik babies, because I haven't listened to all of it. But the reason why I've mentioned it, there we are, I am going to listen to the rest of it. Okay, Mardalishlik babies, you can be well assured of that. Well, the thing is with this, now, if you talk to the average in a household, I could be talking to anybody if I'm out in the street, in the road, walking my beautiful, delicious little Ruby Tuesday because my beautiful, delicious little amazing who can walk herself. And if I was to say to the majority of them, oh, do you have a landline anymore? Just asking a question. I'm pretty sure that for most they'd say no. Probably the ones who still do would probably be somebody who's older. Okay, my delicious little babies. That is what I would have said anyway. Okay. So anyway, but I want to keep my landline. Okay. Now I remember when we used to have to go to the phone box. And I used to ask me beautiful, I said this before, ask me beautiful dear little Nana Bear, because we never had a house phone installed at that time, my delicious babies, okay? So I used to nip up the road and I used to, ask the operator and I used to say, could you please ask my nanny, please, if she can reverse the charges? That's what I used to do because I had a number with me. But in the end, I memorised it anyway. I still know the number now. Okay, I love my beautiful nanny and granddad. So anyway, and we used to be able to talk, and then my dad got a dog and bone installed. So I used to actually have my own phone LAN in my room as well. You know what I mean? So there used to be one downstairs and one in my room. Do you know what I mean, Matt? Just babies anyway. And those were the days, wasn't there? Because you'd talk on the dog and burn, you come off the dog and burn, and then you just went out to play. Because the only one who I ever used to call was my beautiful dear little Nana Bear. That was all. You know what I mean? So we used to have a little convo, and then I just used to go out and play. You know what I mean? So my dear dad, bless him, he never had to worry about myself. Running up a bill or my lights dropped. It's all right. They're still on. My delicious little babies. Kodak's dropped. Anyway. But he never used to have to worry about that. You know what I mean? That I was running up a bill or something like this now then. But of course, in our old Brummyland, which I'm pretty sure it's the same in most cities, they run off of the lands, but with Kingston upon Hull, they've always, sorry, I never needed to stumble there, they've always had their own phone line. So whether or not this has changed, I haven't checked actually lately, but they always kept their own phone line. So other companies wanted to buy it and they said no. Okay, my delicious little babies, because I suppose once somebody else buys it, it's not yours anymore, is it? Do you understand what I mean with the land? Okay, my delicious little babies. So, well worth a listen, okay? But when you actually look at it, there are many. I could talk to many of the elderly now and they could say, oh, we've had a real good talk or a real good natter, a real good chinwag on the landline. Do you know what I mean, Marty babies? But when you lose that and all that you're doing is relying on this type of dog and bone, do you see what I'm saying, okay? Well, if something happens, there was actually a comment that came up because I haven't read any more comments. It's just one particular comment near the top, and they said when their home got hit by a hurricane, like it took out the Wi-Fi, took out everything, but the landline was still working. Do you see what I mean, Mads? It's just like baby. So for myself, I feel better that I've got my landline. Even though I do not use it, it is a rarity you would ever see me use my landline. But I feel in my heart content that I know it's there. There we are. That's all I'm saying, my delicious babies. It's just how I've always felt, for decades, okay? So that's the first one, my delicious babies got to speed through. No, skied through. Speed through. Sorry, my delicious babies. So yeah, now the next one, my delicious babies. This is interesting. This upload, I'll remember to flipping write this one down, happens to have 407,000 subscribers, my delicious little babies, okay? The uploader is called, this is all in little writing now, my delicious babies. This is the uploader, okay? M for mother, B for Bertie, M for mother, and then M for mother again. And then I'm not too sure if these are IIC or LLC. You can't tell, can you? You know, because you got the dots missing. I think it must be, it might be LL. Anyway, 1, 2, like that. And then C. Okay, my delicious baby. So I'm just going to repeat it again. MBMM or I think it must be LLC. I don't know. My delicious babies. You just have to type it in and see what comes out. My delicious babies, please and thank you. Should anybody happen to have any form of an interest, I think this one's over 20 minutes long, so I've got to watch the rest of this as well. My delicious babies, okay? But I do watch them. But like I said, such a selection. I have to choose what I'm gonna. There we are. Give out. So the video should read: rock, solid, solid as a rock. Do 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 do. You know what I mean, Martish babies? What year was that song? Like a Virgin, Martish babies? Yes. Rock more valuable than gold? Question mark. I always do too. Okay, Martish babies, because you got to remember that gold is dust, isn't it, Martish babies? Okay. So yeah. So I'll just repeat that again for you. Rock more valuable than gold, but if rock is dust, do you follow what I'm saying? My delicious babies. I hope that you're getting what I'm saying. Please and thank you, yes. Anyway, as it so happens, these rocks are absolutely beautiful to look at. My delicious little babies, you know, I suppose once you crack them open. Now then, so the next one, my delicious little babies, this uploader happens to have 335,000 subscribers. My delicious little babies. Oh, and by the way, sorry, just rewinding back to this video, the one that I've just mentioned with the, you know, the MBMM, you know, that one. Well, it's like the areas or it's which part of the world and that, do you know what I mean? My delicious little babies, you know. Anyway, so this one here, this uploader is called capital B, black, space, capital O, opal, and then space, capital D, direct. Okay, my delicious little babies, I'm just going to repeat that again for you. Black, opal, direct. Okay, my delicious little babies, all spaces. This video is over 15 minutes long, my delicious babies. So none of these videos so far are long videos to take a look and listen to. Once again, should anybody happen to have any form of an interest, okay? But for myself personally, there we are, should anybody have that time at the day or not, I would really take a little listen, you know what I mean? It's up to oneself, really, please and thank you. Anyway, this video should read the title 300, yeah, number 3, 300 carat gem rough opal. And then it says, I'm going in. Credible. So I'll just repeat this again. 300 carat gem rough opal, hyphen, I'm going in, hyphen, forgot the hyphens, credible, full stop. Okay, my delicious babies. Now then, why have I mentioned this? Okay, I'm going to explain it to you now. So, because I was in jewellery, anyway, anybody who knows myself, so thank you for any views, for any likes, and the occasional comments. How I love you all so, okay? I forgot to say that yesterday. Anyway, because I do appreciate it, my little beautifuls, okay? Because really nobody as such gets to listen to my videos. Very, very few and far in between. Do you know what I mean? My delicious babies, unless they're we are harding. You know what I mean? It's probably the better way, actually. You know what I mean? My delicious babies. Now then, I remember saying that a long time back. Now then, my delicious babies. So it's not only is it therapeutic to watch, but like I said, when I was in jewellery, if you watch somebody like size in a ring, sorry, yes, that's correct, sorry, because I could do that myself, and solder a chain, I can do that myself. But when you watch somebody doing that, or somebody doing tipping, because you've got claw sets, you've got flush, rub over, you've got illusion. It's just an illusion. What year was that song, my delicious little babies? But please and thank you. But when you actually sit down and watch somebody, okay, doing all of that, like if you see somebody polishing and buffing, and there is actually something most therapeutic about it, my delicious little babies, okay? But you've got to have a steady hand, like with most things, and you need your little Bunsen burner, and you need your little, what do they call them, phasers, you know what I mean, so that you can see, close up, you know what I mean, my delicious little babies. But it's definitely not for everybody. Not everybody would want to go into that trade, okay? But and especially with stone cutting. Now the thing with stone cutting, so I did get where your man here was coming from on his video, because we used to have it only occasionally, very occasionally did this used to happen. That's why you usually have to take if you've got a stone, you have to remove the shank, and you have to remove the claws or the rub over, or it's just an illusion, you know what I mean? And you have to remove the stone first, because occasionally you would get a couple of breaks, okay? And this is not good, because you've got to find another stone that's going to match that stone. But every stone's different, you know what I mean? Mad little babies, unless, they do these mass production. Anyway, my delicious babies. So, what's the point I'm making? Getting back to matter in hand. So there's a lot of really hard sand on this opal, okay, and it's got the most beautiful blue colour. It's so beautiful. It's really hard to explain. It's like, it's not a midnight blue. It's a bit lighter than that, okay. It's not as bright as royal blue, I'm not talking about the fake royals, and all that jazz. You know what I mean? I'm talking about the colour. But it's a little bit darker. It's a beautiful colour, actually, right? Because with some blues, it can be warm, can't it? And other blues can be very cold. So if you was going to do a room, you'd have to do it a certain blue. Do you know what I mean? So if you do it a lighter blue, it's going to make the room cold. Anyway, my babies. Anyway, I'm just rambling on. Anyway, what's the point I'm making? So what he's got to do first is he's got to get the sand off. So he's using this machine, and then it's like the water's just drip, 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 you know what I mean? But he's got to be really, really, really careful, because he's got to save as much of the stone as possible. He gets it like a triangle, just like a triangle. Delicious little babies, just like that. Anyway, it turns out that this particular opal, because you can see the lighter colour on the top, but then you can see how it comes as a beautiful blue, okay? But the black opals, you do not see a lot of, because there we are, they're more on the pricey side, they're very dear. As my dear dad used to say decades ago, something was expected, he used to say, "That's dear." He used to go, he said, "That's dear. That is car." Do you know what I mean? Is a car, because that's the words they used to use. You know what I mean? Many decades ago, there's many different sayings, but that's one of them. Anyway, gas fans just sped past. Anyway, my delicious little babies. So anyway, British Gas. So that's what I love about being back in this room. My delicious little babies, you can see everything, you know what I mean? Whereas before I couldn't see F all, I needed to get back in my room, do you know what I mean? So I can see full and plenty. Anyway, my delicious little babies. So, what is it? So this stone at the end, that was absolutely stunning. But if you working it on carats, right, and what you could make, that particular piece that he managed to polish down and everything, because it is a process. It's not just a case of just getting the sand off. No, it isn't. There's a lot more there we are to it than that. Mardelish babies, okay? And I know this being in the jewellery trade them decades ago. There we are. That is how I know. Do you know what I mean? Okay, it's not just something you can just bang up and job done. Do you know what I mean? Okay, especially if you want something that's going to be. It's got to be perfect. It's got to be worth it. Yeah. Fairground Attraction. What year was that song, Mardelish Babies? Yes. Anyway, this opal, getting back to the matter in hand, not only was it beautiful, but it was worth a pretty penny going into grands, Mardelish Babies, which leads me to saying, just to let you know something now. So, 95% of opals are found in Australia. Australia. Do you remember that? That old series. Oh, you remember this from decades. For anybody who's listening, mad, delicious babies. For some of you, you will remember. Is it One Foot in the Grave? When he never used to call it Australia, it used to be Australia. That's how he used to say it, mad, delicious babies. Anyway, so I'll repeat this again. 95% of opals are found in Australia. Lightning Ridge, do forgive me, Cuba, Peddy, and Queensland. Other countries, this is more smaller. Okay, so what do they call it? Deposits. So the smaller deposits. Okay, babies is Mexico, Brazil, and the Czech Republic. Okay, babies, okay? So, repeat again. 95% of opals are found in Australia, Lightning Ridge, Cuba, Peddy, with one D, not two, and Queensland. Other countries, smaller deposits, is Mexico, Brazil, and Czech Republic. Okay, my delicious babies. So anyway, so that's that. Okay, very interesting then. But I'm into, there we are. I'm into that sort of thing now. Then okay. So for myself, it breaks up sometimes. Like sometimes I'll watch a little animal video or a little, you know what I mean, or a little birdie video, something like that now. Then because it just breaks it up. Because otherwise, you can get a little bit, I don't get cheesed off, but I just get frustrated um, because sometimes I do not feel that it's getting out what I'm getting across. I'm done doing. Do you see what I mean? Okay, I know there's always somebody seeing. I know there's always somebody hearing. But what's the point I'm making, my delicious babies? The point that I'm making is that there's a point. There we are. There's a point to everything that I do. I never ever do or say anything unless there is a reason behind it. Okay, I just do not do anything willy-nilly just for no reason. I've never been that way, ever. Okay. Finally, my delicious baby. So, and that's one other thing. I was listening to our lovely trending on Iconic, but I always put thank you, whether it's dear Jamie, dear Gareth, or dear Richard, okay? Then I switch over to iconic.com, our lovely davidite.com, and then I go on to Iconic. I just go up to the place where it's home, and then where you can look, and then I go to Iconic. Anyway, and I'm really pleased. So thank you, dear Gareth, and of course with anybody not in that way. Thank you, dear Gareth, bless you. Yeah, because I mentioned yesterday about the 15 ambulances, comes to 6. You know what I mean? Mad delicious babies that in Gaza that was supposed to be buried. There's no way that you bury 15 ambulances. I don't give figures F what anyone tells myself, and that's not swearing, okay? Anyway, I've seen that. There we are, long time back, years back. Okay, mad delicious babies. So, but I'm so pleased. So, So for dear Gareth to remember, bless you, dear Gareth. Do you know what I mean? So for them to remember that, do you see what I mean? Because not everybody does. Because you got that many videos, you're looking at that much. But yes, dear Gareth, and that wasn't pointing at you because that's rude. I'm not pointing at you, Mads, babies, because that's rude. I'd never do that. Anyway, the point is, yeah, you got to ask yourself what's behind the four ambulances. Nina, 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 Nina. Do you know what I mean, Mads, babies? There's a lot of Ninas down by the nursing home. Yeah, quite a turnaround in some of these nursing homes, isn't there, Mads? Little babies, bless the beautiful dear little souls. Anyway, so yeah, bless you, dear Gareth, okay? And if you could please go on to Iconic or lovelydavidite.com or lovely trending on Iconic, you know what I mean? And please, you'll find out lots of information. Anyway, so the final video for today, Mads, little babies, that I'd like to advertise is lovely, not in that way, not in that way. Lovely Gary with one R, space, capital W, Waterman, so capital G and capital W, Waterman, okay? And it is Gary Waterman is live. Okay, Gary Waterman is live. Okay. He's now up to 5.55 thousand subscribers, and he's on YouTube. And this video, my delicious little babies, is over 2 hour long, and he's talking to a lovely dear woman called Vanessa. Okay, so I'm halfway through at the moment. I listen to all of his, just like I listen to all of my normal regular uploaders who I advertise. I listen to all their videos. Okay, my delicious little babies, that's just my choice. Okay, but every now and again I have to come out of myself and I have to say, no, watch a little birdie video or watch a little animal video, our beautiful little babies who we call our sons and daughters and other little animals over here and all over the world, okay? And, you know, just for me noddle, you know what I mean? I need to sort of come down a bit sometimes. Do you understand what I mean, okay? But you know, but that's for myself personally, or go out and have a walk, or something like this. Do you understand what I mean? Okay, sometimes you need to do that sometimes because it can get a bit too much. But anyway, but I enjoy what I do. But like I say, it can be a bit much sometimes. You just have to break it up a bit. Now then, my delicious little babies, this is very interesting, and I'm going to mention dear Gary again, not in that way, not in that way, bless him. I mean, because he's gone from being in a house to being in a camper van, which has been taken off him, to being in a tent, bless him. Okay, my delicious little babies, now I will repeat this again. This is nothing against anybody, doesn't matter who it is. I didn't mean that disrespectfully. Who I advertise, this is nothing to do with that. I'm interested in these other things going on. In fact, I do not know why I never even looked myself at the company's house. But of course, you would need to know businesses, wouldn't you, so that you could link them. And of course, if you're not familiar with that, it would make, say, my job 1,000 times harder. Do you understand what I mean? And I'm pretty sure it's certainly not easy for dear Gary either. But he's talking to a lovely dear woman, bless her, Vanessa. I like listening to them together because they're very, not in literal terms, they bounce off each other. Do you know what I mean, mad little babies? It's just a figure of speech. Anyway, and that's all my videos, so please. But yeah, he uploaded the videos, so we just got to go back. They're all ticked off. So we just got to go back to where we need to go back to, mad little babies, you know. And the other thing that I wanted to say to you is... yeah, and he uploaded another video as well, which was yesterday, to do with this woman or something. So it's clearly a TikTok video. Now, apparently, listening today, that somebody had said that that video was a year old or something, and it was to do with a Freemason. You know, going back decades. Okay, it just seems the way it's all coming up now, mad little babies. That's what I'm saying to you. You see, for myself, okay, yes, they're trying the best and they're trying to do it all super duper quick, you know, to roll everything out. But what's the point I'm making, mad little babies? The point that I'm making is is something is not going super duper well either. Okay, and this is why ding ding dong dong, uh, why we've got there we are, all the censorship. Do you see what I mean, my delicious babies? That's the end of my video. So thank you once again for listening, my little beautifuls. How I love you, sir. You're super duper wonderful, beautiful, and delish, and I love you, my little honey bunnies. Okay, and yeah. So there is a mixture of videos going on, my delicious little babies. Okay, I wasn't swearing at any of yourselves, my delicious little babies, yesterday. Well, anyway, nobody really watches my video, but thank you to who it is who always does. Aw. So very much love our little lovely, whoever you are, bless you. And so, and yeah, but something else, that we are just a spare a thought about. You know what I mean, my delicious little babies? That's why I say sometimes you just gotta mix it up. But we gotta keep shining those lights, shining those lights, shining those lights. Okay, my delicious babies, and how I love you so. Okay, if it's morning, afternoon, or evening, please have a super duper delicious time. You only get one life, my little honey bunnies. Sending peace, love, harmony, and bright blessings to each and every one of you. May your beautiful little selves and your beautiful little families, may you all be fully protected. And how I love you also. So until my next video, you just take care now. Love ya. Goodbye.